what's up? Hello, I hope you all are doing well. If you're watching this on the day that it comes out, happy Halloween, and if you're watching it any other day of the year, happy whatever other day of the year that it might be. Or if it's Halloween in years to come, I guess also happy Halloween. So there you go. Today's review is of a book called We Ride Upon Sticks by Quan Barry. This is a book that I read with my library book club for the month of October, and I definitely wanted to talk about it with all of you. I want to be clear, I did come to this video in the spirit of Halloween with my attire here. You can't see the back, but it's Calvin and Hobbes trick-or-treating in their ghoulish faces together. It's adorable. Anyway, the point and the reason that we're here is to talk about this book. This is a particularly long book, not exceptionally long like the way that War and Peace is long, but this is a long book about the 1989 Danvers, Massachusetts high school field hockey team, which is extraordinarily specific. Danvers is a small town, sort of above Boston, out on the eastern side of Massachusetts here in the United States. And a lot of people don't know that Danvers was sort of used to be incorporated into Salem. You can go look up the exact geographic specifics yourself. There's a little bit of discussion about it in the book. Anyway, most of Danvers was the site of where the actual Salem witch trials took place in the 1600s. So this book is about the girls' field hockey team who play for Danvers High School in 1989, and they are on the cusp of their 1989-1990 season, and they are not particularly good at field hockey. They don't have a reputation for winning. In fact, they have a reputation for losing. And the young women who are seniors that year, it's their final year of high school, there are 11 of them, I believe, who are about to be in their very final year, and so they are just determined to win. And the book begins with them all at a field hockey camp during the summer in the July before the school year, and they discover, one of their teammates rather, discovers a book in the library about a group of girls from the Salem witch trials who were the ones who really sort of got people rolling on the idea that there were witches in Salem at all. And they were a bunch of teenage girls who really started the whole thing. And for some reason, she takes that to heart. So this team member is particularly intrigued, and this team member kind of has the reputation for never being particularly intrigued by anyone or anything. So it's interesting that she picks up this book and gets the idea from it that all of the girls on the team should sign their name in a book. And so somehow this teammate manages to get all of the girls one by one over the time that they are at this training camp to sign their name in a notebook with Emilio Estevez on the front cover, which is just a sign of the times, and essentially engage in some witchcraft. They all sign their names in the book, or in Emilio, as they say, over time, and they do bad things in sort of sacrifice to him. And they all tie a piece of a blue sock around their upper arm in solidarity. So for the first semester of the school year, they're all running around with this piece of sock on their arm, doing things they wouldn't ordinarily do, and it begins to happen. They begin to win, they begin to get good, and they recognize that if they want to make it to the state championship, which of course they do, they have to continue to devote themselves to Emilio, and they sort of recognize him a little bit as their god, and the whole thing takes off from there. They have an entirely weird field hockey season that gets them into all kinds of misadventures, and this book is, I wouldn't call it creepy, like it doesn't give you a creepy feeling, but it definitely gives you a sense of, oh my gosh, what are they doing next? What is happening next? It keeps you very much engaged. The book is told from a collective point of view. We is the primary pronoun that is used. It's told from a collective standpoint, really, of the team speaking as one, which I found very interesting. I really enjoy when books do that. But at the same time, you get a very thorough understanding of the changes to each of the young women who are on the team. You get an understanding of their family situation, you get an understanding of what they're like, you sort of get their personal growth through this semester and through this experience of being part of an ensemble, to use my favorite word, and part of something that is dedicated to a greater objective. There are some characters in this book that go through very large personal changes, very big surprises about their families, and others who you don't get to hear quite so much about. I was a little disappointed in this book with the lack of balance in hearing about all of these different characters. Obviously, for some of them who had larger growth trajectories, it was necessary to spend more time talking about them because there was more happening with them. But there are a couple characters who are girls on the team that I would have liked to hear more about, and we just didn't get that. I also didn't enjoy how long this book was. It felt very overwritten, and this is something that Dee Dee has spoken about and explained really well over at Brown Girl Reading. It just felt like every third or fourth sentence could have not been there and it would have been fine. Every paragraph almost was an extended simile or an extended metaphor about something from the 1980s, and every 5 of those, it was okay, but it didn't need to be every paragraph. If you had taken out every third line of this book, it probably would have been fine. It would have been the right length. It just felt overwritten. There was a lot of detail, there was a lot of comparison, and it was not ideal, I don't feel. I also really wasn't wild about the ending. I was expecting a little bit more immediate closure, I suppose you could say, than we received. But looking back, I can see how it would have been less satisfying to actually have the ending that I was hoping for happen the way that it happened. There are some new characters that get introduced in the final chapter that I didn't think were needed or necessary. It just felt a little too pat. But that is what it is. Ultimately, I really enjoyed the story. I thought it was very interesting. I really liked getting the different perspectives of all of the different characters. I liked the collective voice, and I liked how each of the members of the team was somehow connected to all of the other things that were going on in the external world, shall we say. So if you like those kind of things, a multi-viewpoint book, some deep literary fiction, I will say this didn't feel like your traditional coming-of-age novel. You could make the argument that it was a coming-of-age novel, probably is, but I really feel like this one kind of felt different from the others. And then obviously the underlying current of witchcraft is kind of interesting too. There's some fantastic for personal growth moments. All right, you know what? I take it back. It's a coming-of-age book, but it's a different coming-of-age book. So if that's your thing, I would say go ahead and try it. Also, if you don't mind particularly wordy books, maybe this one is for you. I'm pretty sure I gave this 4 stars. It's probably all in Goodreads if you want to have a look at it, but if any of that sounds interesting, then I would give this a read. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having lovely weeks and lovely lives. If there's anything that you want to know about us, it is probably in the description, and we will see you very soon.